talks about center seam moccasins. Several historians besides Audrey describe them as being a one-piece moccasin. And they can be made from one piece. But I like to, knowing how much a brain tan piece of leather costs, if not time investment, that is money, I like to make them out of two pieces. That is one piece on the bottom and one piece on the flap. Now the reason I do that is that the hide itself, a natural hide, is made out of different layers, or excuse me, different thicknesses of the hide. And if you go to make your moccasin out of just one big piece, you use up a lot more of the hide quicker, and you're using the thicker part of the hide for the sides or the flaps when you could be getting by with a thinner part. Now traditionally, you would just put your foot down, and you want it to make a nice round look. If you come out here and do a point, like a lot of people do when they first make it, you'll have an empty space out here when you put your moccasin on. You can't fill with your toes. So you want the pattern to be nice and round around your feet. And you want to keep in mind too, a lot of people make the mistake when they first start making moccasins that they'll consider their big toe the middle of the moccasin, and they'll start curving at the big toe. But you don't want to really start curving back until that you're next to the toe, because this is the center of the moccasin right here, and that's where the line's going to go. So you want it to start curving about right there. You come down and draw a pattern about right in here with the joint of your big toe. And you'll start going around here nice and slow, nice and gradual. Everything nice and round. And following your toes right on around. And now I've got to measure around the arch of my foot right here. To do that, take a piece of string, linen thread, same linen thread I'm going to tie my moccasins with, and I'll tie a knot in one end of the string, and I'll use that for my measuring point. Now, I just slide underneath my foot and bring it up to the front of the arch of my foot, and just lay that knot down there. And you just lay the string across, and wherever the string goes across that knot, I know that's how big around the front of the arch of my foot is. See now that here's the knot right here, and this is how, this is equals 1/2 of the distance around my foot. And that will work real well as a pattern. So I bring that pattern, I slide underneath my foot, and make sure my foot's lined up about where it was before, and bring down, and I put the knot right in front of the arch of my foot where I want it to come, and knot right along the edge of the fold in the leather. Lay the string down, you see it comes out here to the side, and I just make a mark where that string is. Now from that point I can go, the front of my arch my foot is, right here, I can go just straight back with my line. Don't have to, you know, if you're pretty good at eyeballing, you can see that you can get pretty close. The most important cut is that first one, and you look at how much a piece of brain tan leather costs. You kind of hate to cut into it, but you kind of look at it for a while, you admire it, wrap yourself up in it, smell it. And now see, I'm cutting through both pieces at once, so the pattern will be pretty close together. Take your time, and I can see, you know, about what I got. You know, that looks pretty good. And it, you know, you'll think that doesn't look like much room, but that's plenty of room, because I know I want these to be snug, and I know that the moccasin is going to stretch as I use it. Okay, I'm using 4-ply linen thread, and you can always tell what ply it is by just twisting it the opposite way it is until you separate out the fibers. And I'm fairly straight through. I don't really like that, but you can see how I'm going at an angle, so that means that I'm going to have to fight my moccasin getting off center all the way around. So I'm going to back it off the far wall and just move it over a little bit, wanting my needle to stay perpendicular to the pattern as much as possible. So you can see I've got a little bit of welt hanging over, so I'll take time to trim it with my scissors. You can see over here on the edge where I first started sewing, that part that I've cut at an angle is still hanging out there. Now let's go ahead and leave that alone, because it covers up the hole pretty good. And it feels comfortable. I don't feel the seam inside my foot at all. I don't feel the stitching where I went around it a few times to keep my threads from coming undone. You can see there's a little bit of a curve to my welt here. That's just from my press shot when I pulled it through. None of that was intentional. Some people like to have a nice straight line. As long as it fits good once you put them on, you're in business. I want to feel underneath my toes to see if there's a gap here. If I could push air and the moccasin goes in and it's not feeling right. I don't want my toes to be bound up. I want to pull it tight around my foot so there's no creases along the front, there's no wrinkles. Pull it tight. Just kind of check it. Double check it, then I'll let go. And right down here in the moccasin, I'll just draw a line around with my pencil, my lead, around my heel. Pull this tight, and I'll make sure that the top edges, as I pull them around tight to the back, are even with one another. And I'll try to grab them right in the middle of the back of my ankle. Now you don't have to do it with this with a straight edge. You can do it, you can eyeball it. But there's my heel. If I turn it over, here's the mark on the back of my ankles. And I start looking about as wide as I think my heel is. And I know that's where I'm going to need to cut a line here, back to that heel line. Okay, that's my next step. Now what I'll do is it'll end up looking like this when we're done. Turn the right side out. Push down there, wrinkle free. Wrap your thong up snug. If you got everything underneath the thong wrinkle free, you won't get any sore spots. This will help keep the chiggers and ticks and junk out of your moccasin. There you go. One moccasin's done, one to go.